Okay, hey everybody, this is John. It is Tuesday evening, May 19th. I was just talking with someone the other day that January seemed to last forever, and now it is May 19th. For those of you with kids in school still, they got almost out of school for summer break, so that kind of special time of the year, which I'm certainly looking forward to. Last week we were at Disney for a couple of days. My family and I do this thing with YPO, where every 2 years they go to Disney and do all these crazy things with like 700 people and rent out portions of the park. And it was great, but man, you get up at 6 a.m., you're in bed at 1 a.m. It's just kind of all day, every day, so you get kind of exhausted after that. But it was interesting is that there was this new roller coaster at Epic Universe at Universal Studios. I think it's called the Spitfire or something like that, but it's these two twin roller coasters, and it's super scary. If you've ever done like Velocicoaster, it's like that. And there's this one part where you accelerate to 70 miles an hour and you go up, and then you're doing a loop, but then you invert, and then it's like you're falling inverted. And man, and I remember asking one of my kids afterwards, I'm like, how did you feel during that? And he's like, I was terrified, but you know what? I'm glad I did it. I think that's just a good motto of life and kind of where we are in the markets right now. And it's not that this market is terrifying by any stretch. I mean, if anybody was scared, it was probably here. And if it's terrifying here, the question is just simply if you're locked and loaded long and you're here, that's fine. You just trail up stops. But if you're terrified as if, you decided right here, and there's people out there that did, that they didn't like the markets here, they didn't like the markets here. And to be fair, it was hard to like the markets there. But not liking the markets right here is, that's a huge gap. When you see that you close at the highs and you get a gap, and then the next day you make higher highs, that's a significant message to the markets that the valuation of the stock market was calculated incorrectly, and now it is time to correct that error in judgment. But now we've got a situation here where this is kind of a nasty, and I've drawn this line at 73.2883, and that's kind of the low of this day. A close below that signifies that a top is in place. And in fact, we've got I think from Stock Traders Almanac, we now have the MACD sell, which is this annual signal that then represents like the next 4 or 5 months of the poor market performance. So long story short, we've got some amazing things happening in some amazing stocks. I think the most amazing one is probably SanDisk, although there's a long list. And it doesn't mean that some of these stocks won't continue to advance. It just means that this is awesome because there was a trade I did on the stock back here when there was a squeeze, and it was like, wow, I mean, this thing exploded. It got to and now here we are. That's pretty funny. And this is we actually took this trade today, and we're looking to see if it can break out. But keep in mind, we've got we've got the broader market, which is the S&P 500, that does kind of respond to these cycles. And then we do have the stocks that are responding to the incredible demand and shortage of everything related to AI. And at the end of the day, AI can be summed up as this. And this was not true. I traded in the .com world, and people ask, and there's always like, oh, is it different this time? And I never say it's different this time, but the question is how long until... It's how long until saturation? How much time? And you measure that. And what's great about the AI, kind of thing that's happening right now, is it's measurable. It's tokens. It's the demand for tokens versus the supply of tokens. So what's the demand for tokens? That's computing power. And if the demand for tokens exceeds the supply, the AI train's going higher. Now, at some point that'll level out, and at some point there's going to be a time when it's like the demand for tokens is less than the supply. Okay, and so what would have to happen for that? Well, you get 10 more data centers, and maybe Elon's got a bunch of stuff up in space that's creating more computing power, but that's years away. Let's call it 3 years away, 2030. So based on all that, the demand is real. The question is, are valuations? Is the valuation of SanDisk reflective of what's going to happen over the next couple of years, or as often happens in these situations, the demand for SanDisk has reflected what's going, what's the picture is going to look like in 2030, and it gets to a point where then it just trades at that level for years, and that's typically what happens in this situation. I mean, case in point here is Nvidia, now almost a $6 trillion company, but the story of Nvidia was a situation where it was like here. And this is kind of like what happened with Netscape. Here, Nvidia is this company, it's great, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh my God, people want chips for AI, and then the market realized that this was severely undervalued, and then it went up 10x fairly quickly, and then it's just been kind of trading sideways, for like a year or so, because that's the appropriate valuation for that company. Here, the valuation was mispriced, and then the market was like, oh my God, this company's worth a lot more. And then it's like, okay, now it's fairly priced. And of course, recently it's kind of broken out of that range. And what's interesting right now, and it's interesting looking at the doom and gloomers right now, because the doom and gloomers are like, oh my God, 40% of the market is 7 stocks. Yeah, okay. And those 7 stocks are kind of right in the middle of the biggest gold rush in history. Now, it's not a reach of genius to say like, oh, it's not going to end well. I mean, at some point, I'm sorry, I'm a little, it's been an interesting day today, and it's just like I think it's like someone was telling me about, they were complaining all day about the bubble that's happening and stuff like that. I'm like, do you use AI? I mean, have you seen what's going on? But the point of all this is that to me it feels like 1998, and there was a time in 1998 when it was like all of a sudden people were like, oh my God, the internet, we have to get a website and all that kind of stuff. And then for 2 more years the market kept going, and and maybe that's what's happening here. And I think it's a poor comparison, but what's happening right now, and what can't be denied, is the biggest and largest capital expenditure in human history for companies to get more tools in place, for AI related stuff. So this isn't about, using ChatGPT as a therapist. It's about the expansion of corporations utilizing AI to help them kind of run their business and things like that too. So anyway, blah, 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 all the things. And so when we think of it that way, and it may sound like I'm a raving lunatic bullish, but I'm not. It's I actually think that the market's going to sell off here. And so all that being said, I am looking actually for kind of a normal correction, and a normal correction, that would take us 7,200, maybe 7,000, probably, maybe into June. We'll see. And a lot of this is going to depend on Nvidia earnings. I think Nvidia is going to have great earnings. But I also, what we don't know is how much of it's priced in. We know they're going to be great earnings. How much of that is already baked into the market? That's the unknown. So we've seen that a lot recently, where it's companies like this blow out their earnings and then they fall because that was already baked into the market. So all this being said is that when you're in a market like this, don't worry too much. So here, my philosophy of investments is a couple-fold. Is for trading, you should have 3 accounts. You should have one account that is an investment account, and that is just cash that you put into the indexes. Now, if you would have asked me that when I was 25, I would have said, that's foolish, because you could make more money trading. And then as you get older and wiser, of course, you realize the significance of just having exposure, and it's not about timing the market, it's about time in the markets. And so and I'm a huge fan of that, and dollar cost averaging. I do something what's called tax loss harvesting with the S&P 500 and yada yada yada, and you can also just do VOO. That's the standard. So then you have swing trading, and then kind of more what I call short-term trading, which is kind of day trading, 1 or 2 days. But the idea with all of this is that you're using your day trading and your swing trading to create cash to then deploy into either longer term investments. For me, it's been real estate, rare coins, and the stock indexes, and experiences so that you enjoy life. You know, at the end of the day, we're all on the same train going to the same destination. And as Alan Watts famously said, we can sit here and just kind of chase the carrot of achievement right up until the point, you know, where we're, you know, sorry to be morbid here, but we're, you know, we're about at the end of our life and we realize it, and it's at that point you realize like the whole point of life was to kind of dance and enjoy the experience, right? And so the point of my rant, is it a rant? I don't know if it's a rant. The point of all this is just to say that no matter what's going on in the market, it's all about taking a deep breath, relaxing, and trying to understand what is the best way to take advantage of the situation. And in trading, what that means is it's creating cash so you can use that to put into long-term investments and enjoy and experiences so you can enjoy life. And that's my whole philosophy of trading. Generate cash so you can put it into long-term investments to create financial independence. 1. 2, use cash to have experiences that will create memories that you can look back fondly on when you're older. And 3, to enjoy the process. You know, trading is like, it's not this guaranteed thing, right? But the process is fun. And so we're in a market right now where, yeah, there's a lot of like, oh my God, these things have moved pretty good. But as always in something like this, you can drill down, and on a daily chart, you know, it may be, it may look like you've missed it. Just drill down. I mean, that should be a t-shirt in trading, is just drill down. You know, here's SanDisk. It's like, oh my God, this, you know, I've never heard of this company, and it's gone from, you know, 800 to 1600 in the last week, in the last 2 weeks. Great. Well, if you drop down to a 4-hour chart, there's a squeeze. This is turned, and this isn't a bad place to take a stab at it to see if this thing can break out. So that's the beauty of all this and all the things. Okay, so I've been talking a lot. What are some things that are setting up right now that look interesting? Of course, we got Nvidia earnings tomorrow. I think they'll crush earnings. I think that's already priced in. So I'd be surprised if this, you know, if there's a $60 move in Nvidia after earnings. I think they'll destroy earnings. And I think the market has already baked that in. Remember, the market cap of this company is $6 trillion, so, or close to that. I do like the idea here that SanDisk could take something with that. But if we're looking at pure daily squeezes, Goldman Sachs came, so this is the kind of time like in Goldman Sachs where it's been flushed, and I love looking for these flushes. You know, it's like, think of the person that bought it here and now they get stopped out here. They're like, man, I can't do anything right. Their stop is your entry, but the best thing is that their stop is your entry when there is a squeeze, ideal squeeze. So I like that entry there. Another one that came up on this is Walmart, but I think Walmart has earnings coming up. Yeah, so ideal squeeze, but there's earnings coming up. That's a little trickier, but if we did fall into this, I wouldn't mind buying something and selling it right before earnings. I wouldn't want to hold through earnings. What's another one here? ALL, ideal squeeze. This one's already taken off. Would love to get this on the pullback. This is the kind of thing where you see it and you're like, oh my God, this is great. Place a limit order. Okay, place a limit order. LSCC, lattice, yeah. So great. Another thing here, great squeeze. Now this is the kind of thing when you see this stuff, it's like, okay, there's a squeeze. I always like to know, like on that first arrow, get the heads up, and then on that first arrow, that's when you're placing bids within kind of this green zone here. And I like to place some that are aggressive. That's the 13 EMA. But I love the flushes. And so market makers aren't stupid, right? They know everybody reads the same book, and if somebody buys it here, they read the book where they're supposed to have a stop loss right here. And guess what? That's market makers' algos. They're on the hunt for liquidity, and one of the best forms of liquidity is stop losses. So when something like this happens and it flushes, it's not a time to like, oh my God, what's happening? The stock's going down. That's when you're like, thank you, because you thought about this in advance and you placed orders there to take advantage of it. And that's the whole key here. Okay, so anyway, that's what I got. So Nvidia earnings tomorrow. Market has a huge MACD sell signal as per stock market. The stock almanac, stock farmers almanac. So even though I'm pretty bullish on Nvidia earnings, I do think that it's time for the stock market to take a breather. So what does that mean? As usual, we trade setups. I typically, in individual stocks, I focus on the long side. But then if I'm bearish on something, I do it on the indexes. And I've just found that that's an easy way to kind of manage things. So I might have, in a situation like this where the markets are showing some signs of fatigue, i.e. Big MACD sell signals, all the fun stuff, I might focus on put debit spreads on SPX, but then look for things like this that are still showing signs of accumulation. All right, hope it helps. Oh, last but not least, I got to show you this chart. I mean, dear God. TNXCGI. Ain't no stock market is going to survive this. This is interest rates. We need to be below 4% for stocks to really thrive. Now, long term, obviously, we've seen this AI explosion and they don't really care. But when you're up here, it is really, really, really hard for stocks. And when I say stocks, I don't mean SanDisk, okay? I mean the S&P 500, because there's a plethora of companies that are impacted by interest rates, okay? SanDisk is not. They could care less about interest rates. And so that's what I'm talking about there, and hope that makes sense. All right, that's what I got. Have a great night, and I'll see you at the next update.